Hello, this is Araya. I'm going to keep this one kind of short, but I did want to announce that I am starting a video journal. I feel like it's going to be helpful for me to speak my truth and share my experience, and it's going to be helpful for other people to hear what I've learned on my journey and hear what I'm in the middle of learning and get the story and different perspectives. I've certainly learned a lot so far. Before my healing journey, I grew up as an awkward kid. I always felt awkward. I always felt out of place, starseed. Um, um, and eventually I became very ill with autoimmune disease. I was diagnosed with Crohn's and colitis when I was 11, which made me feel even more awkward, which led to self-medicating, which led to addiction, which led to homelessness, abuse, and all of that. It's become clear to me in recent months that I did experience traumatic mind control as a kid, as a baby. I'm not clear on how, or where, with who specifically, other than a couple of little details, but that's not the most important thing. It explains a lot. I'll get more into that another time because that's going to lead into a story that's going to take a very long time to tell. And I'm not quite up for that tonight just yet, So I've had lots of loss of loved ones. I have this one stretch that I call my decade of hell, and it started with, and I had lost a few people before that. Started with someone very close to me passing away. And I felt very responsible for it. And then shortly, once I recovered from that, I started working again after a year of grieving, and then I got pregnant, and I eventually I stopped sleeping after I had him, and eventually gave him to, adopted him to a family friend. Then they closed the adoption on me, and then I attempted suicide. I had 2 near-death experiences at that time in one night, and then I had 2 more after that. And for me, the near-death experience, I remember the first time I was gone for over 10 minutes. And all of a sudden I was in this place, and it was like golden white light, and I felt just like this love and peace that I didn't think I was capable of feeling. And I was face to face with a Native American, and I couldn't tell if they were, male or female, because they were elderly and had long hair, and it was just hard to tell. And before I know it, I loved it there, and I got pushed back, and I wasn't happy. So I spent many, many years after that just trying to get back, but it would never stick. It either wouldn't work or wouldn't stick. Shortly after that, I was living with my dad, and his apartment went on fire in a very mysterious way. They were convinced that it was my fault somehow for smoking or something, but no kidding, I did something in the bedroom. No, nothing was lit, nothing was being smoked. It was an incantation I read, and then I went into the living room, and in the living room I smoked a little bit of weed. And I fell asleep, and when I woke up to go to the bathroom, I'm on my way to the bathroom, and I look in the bedroom, not the living room where I was smoking, and the foot of my bed was on fire. And it took like minutes for the whole place to be engulfed. It was crazy. Then I ended up having to move in with someone who was, who had a lot of issues. And, what they say, heal people, and hurt people, hurt people. It was just a really sticky, heavy place for me to be, and I was there for a very long time. I don't want to get too deep into details right now. But there was, I was made to perform certain acts in order to stay there, and I felt like I had to do that because I was scared to go to a shelter and I didn't know what would happen. I had so much trauma at that point, and plus at that point I was addicted to benzodiazepines, and I was scared of being somewhere towards the end there that couldn't provide me with what I needed to keep going, even though I wasn't really going. Also, while I was there, I had a botched colonoscopy, and I ended up having to, almost 6 months in the hospital. I got an emergency surgery, which, put me that surgery really made me non-functional after that. It didn't go well for me at all. I eventually, moved back in with parents, and that didn't go well either. Ended up switching to, I as Crohn's disease, their main concern was always just put on weight. You don't have food allergies, just do this, do that. Meanwhile, nothing's working. I eventually saw something on the paleo diet and how it's good for autoimmune, so I took it upon myself to do that, and I did. And within like 2 weeks of doing that loyally, I was able to function again, and that was a very, very, very big step for me, and that was really good. Nowadays I'm not paleo anymore, but I honored that diet for about 3 years, 2.5 to 3 years, and it was really good for me. And now I try to be more plant-based, and since I'm more plant-based, I eat, organic rice and quinoa and stuff like that. Even bread every now and then. I have an issue with gluten. I find that organic sourdough in careful moderation is okay for me. But even lately I'm not doing that, but that's a whole nother story. That doesn't have anything to do with the intolerance part of it. And then from there, I moved in, with different people for a while, like bouncing every couple of months, and I was wondering why nothing was working out, but I had to be on my own for a while. I had to be on my own to heal, to feel my own energy, to know what I'm capable of. I needed to learn how to be independent. And I did after, once I finally got on my own. I was living in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I managed to get myself a beautiful support system. I managed to, take a bunch of classes and get initiated as a shaman, and get certified in a bunch of different things. And, then I met someone who I love very much, Kelly. And, when we met, it was, when we first started talking, it's funny, he'd always say that he was just a single guy in his 50s or whatever, and, after a couple of weeks, and I'm like flirting with him, he's, I can tell he's holding something back. I'm like, I like you, right? And he's like, well, yeah, but I have a twin flame. She hates me, and we don't get along. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, I had arranged for him to come and see me, and then he, at the last minute, told me, never mind, I'm gonna go to Brazil. And then he went there. He got kidnapped. Essentially, he was in a place with bars that he couldn't get out of. He got drugged. He got his stuff stolen. And at that point, I wanted him to see me first and then go there. But he went there first, and I had blocked him on everything because I needed to, I felt the connection even before we met. And he kept on giving me like these updates about what he was doing in Brazil, and I just didn't want to hear it. So I just blocked everything but email. 3 weeks later, I get an email as if I knew what was going on. I escaped from my kidnapping, and there's all these issues and this, that, and the third. And, well, I paid for him to come and see me in Raleigh. And then, before he went back to California, we ended up hitting it off. And like the first time we hugged, it was like a hug that lasted a very long time because it was so intoxicating. We actually felt like we were floating, and I could have swore that I'd open my eyes and I would be somewhere else, A few months later, after some really long visits, several visits that were between 2 and 3 weeks, I moved with him in California. From there, we got the advice from Spirit to go to Arkansas, and that's where I am now. I'm very happy here. I know I'm meant to be here. Kelly and I are taking some time off, just to self-heal and figure out what direction we want to go in. And then, in the next couple of months, we're going to kind of match that all up, it seems. I've had to do a lot of healing and inner work to be able to accept some of the things that have led to this, coming from both parts. And I'll talk about that more when I talk about this attachment that was with me since I was a kid. Like I said, I'll do that in my next one. This one I wanted to keep pretty short. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I just knew I needed to do something here, It's been an incredible journey. I didn't think I'd ever be able to wake up and not need anything. Even more, I didn't think I'd be able to wake up and not need anything and be happy. I never thought I'd be able to be happy even if I had substances, Now I not only am I, have been clean from even pharmaceuticals for the past over 5 years now, but I've been a non-smoker for almost 2 years. And, I've done a lot of things that I never thought I could do, I had a 2-bedroom apartment for about 2 years in Raleigh, and I never thought I'd be able to pay my own bills and stuff like that. And now I find myself single-handedly running my own business. Well, 95%. Kelly is supposed to be part of it, but I've kind of just switched everything over because I wasn't really I was feeling as though I wasn't really getting help. But I know that if I need to use some of the materials that he still has, that's going to happen. He agreed to help me with something tomorrow, so I'm really excited for the future. I think it's going to be wonderful for everybody that's on this path. Of course, we go through these periods where it's like rough for everyone, but if we allow that stuff to come up and we allow ourselves to feel it and then release it, that's really what it's meant to do. It's not supposed to be torture, although it could feel that way. So nowadays, I am working, I'm enrolled to get my PhD in metaphysics, but I'm technically still working on the bachelor's. I'm about halfway done. Trying to figure out my dreams, My dream really is to open up a metaphysical church, Stellar Gateway Temple or Stellar Gateway Church, where we help you achieve the unachievable, reach for the stars. It totally would not be about worship or anything like that. It would be a place for healing, interconnection, unity, self-discovery, enlightenment, whatever level you wish to achieve, because we're all kind of different in that area. Some people don't care as much as others, and that's okay. Be free to be you. I have a lot of dreams, and right now I'm actually trying to, get a firmer grip on what exactly I want to achieve. And I think that everybody has to kind of go back around every so often and retake inventory of what they want. And I need to figure out what I want as far as what I want my future to look like, the near future and the distant future, Not that we want to really stay anywhere but the present moment too long, but that's, I need to figure out what I want to manifest, really, because if I have a good idea, I can be an excellent manifester. I am an excellent manifester. Also, I love doing one-on-one stuff, and between that and classes, sometimes I'm just, but somehow I want to find the energy to have my own apothecary too, because I love making concoctions. I need to see how that'll all fit in. Maybe I'll get to where one day I, see people twice a week, and I have a bunch of these like automated things that, and I don't know if that's really me, but we'll see. I mean, I'm just not, I'm trying to stay open to everything. But yeah, every so often you gotta kind of go around and retake inventory. What do I want? Why do I want it? What do I want in this area? What do I want from my friendships? What do I want from my relationships? What do I want for my career? What do I want for me? How do I want to be of service? And I feel grateful and lucky and blessed that I even have these things to decide. It's always better to be grateful. All right, well, I did my little intro. I feel like I'm just talking now. I didn't go in too much detail about some of my past stories. I feel like when they're appropriate, and the anecdotes, are appropriate to be fully expressed, then I will express them. And yeah. All right, thanks for allowing me to share. I'm sending so much love. Violet, golden violet. I hope you have a wonderful day.